Hello everybody, I'm Conquering History Games, and welcome back to part 6 of my Brazil campaign. So that other music and noise should be gone right now. It actually kept happening even when I shut down the game, and I couldn't figure out where it was coming from. I was closing my browsers and just trying to find like where the hell is this music coming from, so I'm not sure what that was about. Ended up having to restart my PC like twice before I was able to get it to stop. But it's gone now. We can actually listen to the music, and we're gonna listen to the original Hearts of Iron 4 soundtrack because I have not done that in a very long time. I usually listen to classic. So, where we last left off, Quadras has resigned! Oh my gosh, what are we gonna do? Oh, I could decrease military nepotism. Get it under that line would be you know what? Let's do that. Schedule an inspection. Inspection! Inspection! I always liked that scene, by the way, in the Lord of the Rings Return of the King film where Frodo and Sam are disguising themselves with the orcs and the inspection happens, and there's just something about that whole scene. It's just like, orcs are humans. There's just something about NCOs. They're always the same. Because he also got the guy with the whip. Anyway. Protegenos nosas recuerdas. And I just lost every Portuguese viewer. Men, in my career, there have been very few times like this one tonight, and it's certain one of you will feel the same way about it. The officers of the Naval District had gathered. They were excited to be there. Truth be told, I would never have a moment like this one. When I was in Britain, a lot of us entertained the notion we would turn the tide and force the Germans back, that we could save a country with our efforts and our efforts alone, but that didn't happen, and it has eaten at us ever since. Nobody expected one day any free nation, let alone one in South America, could stand and hold its own. But our pride and honor demanded we send a line by your work, and by your work alone, that line held. Brazil is now the only nation in the history of the 20th century to win an unequivocal victory over fascism. Nobody, not the Americans, not the British or French empires, has done what you have done in these past few weeks. Now we take pride in the worst defeat of the German Navy since the Graf Spee was scuttled. The Germans will not cross the line. I hope you enjoy this wonderful menu of lobster-based meals, specially prepared for the occasion from the very same shellfish you protected at sea. Keep in mind this meal was possible because you kept the New World secure from the disasters and downfall of the old. Para a Maria do Brasil. So, loyalty's up, political power's up. Okay. So, what we're going to do now is, I really don't want to raise the taxes. I really don't like the effects of it. Political power gain minus 20. Yeah, because we're getting more political power. It's, I don't think I want it. Jesus, minus 50% with exploitive taxation down there. Big green Swiss cheese. Yeah, they're making land. The highway's path is adjusted. Recent wars in Europe have made luxury foods pricier than ever. Blessed are the cheesemakers. It's just trans-Armenian stuff. Armenian, trans-Amazonian. So I think some other things are about to happen right now anyway, so we're not actually going to do something. There's corruption going on. Enrique Laud had read every memo. There was only 24 hours in a day. Local bigwigs paid the government engineers to avoid their land. Highway curved back and forth. Delays were generated. Bribes were being spread throughout the entire chain, including cabinet members. This Hietor Gomez will have his day in court eventually. Okay. So yeah, we're just waiting for some more consequences to happen. Misplaced report. Life as vice president was uneventful. Files the president wants to look at later. Files on government corruption. This wasn't the first incident that Quadros had cataloged. This is probably nothing more to it, yet it made him uneasy. Always good to keep an eye on political rivals. So Quadros' influence has just grown, even though she's not here anymore. Oh, this is a South American event, so I want to read this one. The Chilean South is aflame. What began as a simple land seizure by local peasants in the Cautin area has escalated into an effort to seize lands owned by major landlords by force. The nation watches as everyone expresses support for different factions involved, but some worry as to how this conflict seems to be more coordinated than a simple local struggle. Conflict spreads throughout the South like a wildfire. Landlords and peasants alike are arming themselves and building barricades, while radical revolutionary groups fan the flames. Some reports claim that Ernesto Guevara is involved, but those are unconfirmed. As it stands, the Chilean government is quickly losing control of the situation. The powder keg in the south has exploded! Okay. Yeah, we're just still not going to take anything. Yeah, because inflation stuff. The Brazilian expedition captures the attention of South America. Mueller! Oh yeah, remember Mueller over here was going to visit us? He was seen as a primary antagonist in the country over fishing rights, but this week he was all smiles as his plane touched down in Rio. Any potentially awkward meeting with Lot was avoided, as he decided to do away with a formal diplomatic visit in favor of a casual one. So he was in a helicopter over the jungles of the Amazon. We want to bag a jaguar, but I could not find one. But I did kill some very large black caiman, and I will bring it home with me, a very large black caiman, to show to my guests in Leopoldville. Many in the Nazi government are displeased with this semi-official visit. State Department is blasting Brazil for hosting a major official in the Nazi party. What this government has done has turned Brazil into a playground for international criminals, declared an editorial in the Tribuna da Imprensa. Mueller, who takes delight in being more relaxed and atypical Reichskommissar than his other colleagues, was not fazed with such criticism. All of politics is stupid, and you should really ignore it, he said. He also said President Lott or Vice President Gianni Quadros would be welcome to make a reciprocal visit to Central Africa at any time. This could have got a lot worse, so we lost stability of Quadros' influence is growing. Uh-oh. Prime Minister of Thailand, I see. Nope. Right. At least we're picking up a lot of political power here. Alright, so check. Strolled confidently back to his door. The door of a vice president. Laid his hand on the doorknob. The doorknob of a vice president. She slowly, ever so slowly, opened the door. And once again breathed the air a vice president breathes. Quadros coughed. It smelled like shit in here! When she put in her resignation, Quadros may have sold it a bit too hard. Last she saw her office, it was littered with broken glass. The trash can was upended, and she may or may not have kicked a hole in the wall. Most of it had been cleaned by now, but there was still some garbage littered about. Luckily, in their ordered expulsion from her office, the cleaning crew had left some tools. Quadros opened the windows, took up the fallen broom, and went to work. Haniel enjoyed cleaning, to tell the truth. It felt orderly, structured. So unlike everything else in Quadros' life, cleaning had a certain goal and a certain end. As she swept up the last of the trash in her office, Quadros took a moment to pat herself on the back. It was difficult, but she deserved it. She was one step closer to President. Resigning was quite the power play, but damn if it hadn't paid off. Lott had practically begged her to come back, with a strained tone of absolute hatred that Quadros absolutely relished. Still, this wasn't even close to the end. She righted her seat, sat down, and began to dial Lacerda. Quadros had made a bold move today, but it was time to get even bolder. After all, a president needs to be decisive. Haniel Quadros could never be satisfied with anything less, so we set aside differences for now. So we're gonna get her back as our vice president. There we go, back. Didn't have... Were the glasses there before? So... Relationship is currently tense, but I think we just still have to wait a little bit here. What's happening? Whoa. What was that? What was that? What just happened? Oh, was the Amazon thing? Or what? Ah. We have another development edict available, maybe. Subsidize some mechs or whatever. How's it going down here? Loyal officers want the audit. No. No. Please get me under the line here once this scheduling inspection is done. Really hope we can do it. Murder most foul. With JFK. A report set on the desk of Henrique Lott. This in and of itself was an extremely regular occurrence. Reports on all kinds of things, from the doings of the foreign tyrannies. The latest Sao Paulo flap du jour found their way to the desks of the president all day, any day. But this report was something different, something much more problematic. Let's see, a firm had been collecting rubber. The head of the local rubber firm wants to remove the villagers. Says the Indians are parasites, shameful pests, and vagabonds. he resolved to exterminate him. Would have been done to the natives, their so-called backwards culture. One of the goons hadn't been paid enough, so he went whining to a prosecutor in Cuiabá. Decisive action had to be taken. Deploy police to the 11th parallel, see the human filth brought to justice. So, yeah, basically a private rubber firm decided to do a little massacring in the Amazon. Aya is now the... Oh, isn't she cool with those glasses? Okay, Quadros' influence is a little stronger. If I get the chance, I should increase lots. But again, I think we're just waiting. I gotta get this fan on. I think we're just waiting for something else to pop up here. Some new event. Yeah, I'm not gonna be doing either of these. Wait, Caesar! Caesar, what are you doing? Okay. It's clawing at something. Okay. We're gonna be doing some warring soon. Relatively soon. So I think what we want is the land night attack with that vision. 20%. That's pretty good. Let's get that. I'll look down here if there's anything worthwhile. I really don't think so. We're not gonna complete the plan anyway. Yeah, because there's some decent stuff down here, but it's just, yeah, it's not. We're not gonna get to it. I think. Again, I'm not a South American expert in account works here. There we go. Military is not very corrupt. Loyalty is still getting high. That's good. I think we might be able to get today to the to Hitler's death, hopefully. Because that's when things will really kick off. Oh, Irkutsk and Buryatia are still at war. Though, Irkutsk seems to be getting quite an advantage. Neves walked to the office of his friend, his colleague, Lot. Party, political matters, ever-present civil servants nodded. What brings you here today? Rightus and the PSD are angry, Enrique. They think you've bent too much to Goulart and Quadros. The miners' crisis is a case in point. You need to do more about their opinions. I have faith in you. There's a stubborn look on his face. Neves could tell that clearly, and it worried him. Okay. Just more tensions. Tensions growing. Okay. Let's see what's going on here. There's a little border clash going on over here. Oh yeah, Moore is getting... Oh, no, I thought they were getting attacked from both sides. Magadan attacked them. Or one way or the other, they're at war. This could be a good encirclement for a war. Might be just what they needed. I guess it's just what they needed. Novosibirsk is making its move on the church. Huh? Boost that. There we go. New national folks. We need to get some more mechanization going. Oi, what's happening? We're freezing up. There. What does requisition assets do again? I don't even know. Some industry. There it is. Yeah, now more is getting crushed. Gonna be the end of that. Man, do I need to fucking go down here after all? What the hell is happening? No, I refuse. Maybe I should have done a live stream first, so people could have told me what works, what doesn't. Oh yeah, and just like Amor is getting hit from both sides, so is HOI4 here. And that's that, yep. Obviously it was pretty short. Oh, I think Novosibirsk just immediately went to war again, or who did? No, it's Tomsk and Krasnoyarsk. I'm just focusing on Russia right now because, yeah, we're waiting. Okay, Sunday at the beach. Speedometer hit 99. Used to be a favela on this hill. Lacerda demolished it to build a tunnel. Okay, yeah, so basically this guy's joyriding and enjoying the new infrastructure. Today is a good day. Yeah. Okay, so it's just showing how Brazil is evolving. Oh yeah, little fucking freak there. Charles de Gaulle, the canonical portrait from the French series. I finished uploading that, right? I just realized, did I ever get every episode uploaded? Let me check my channel right now on the other screen. Did I not? Oh no, yeah, there it is. Episode 36, finale. Yeah, I did finish it. Let's reassure the top brass. Okay, Hitler's gonna die in like 2 weeks. Hmm. 56% consumer goods. It's bad. It's really bad. And that's with us boosting the civilian budget. We've got the settlement with Brazil. Hitler's died. There it is. A day to remember. Everybody start partying. Okay, so what's the news here in Brazil? Yeah, Carnival! Party time. The Hitler, Führer of the Nazi Empire, self-proclaimed master of Europe, suffered the fate of all flesh. People are celebrating the demise of a man whose existence had blighted the entirety of humanity. One of them was Lacerda, extremely restrained in her glee in public. The moment she was sure she was alone, she started yelping and shouting for joy. Quadro celebrated the only way she knew how, by getting drunk. Kubi-chan celebrated this development in the company of one of her mistresses. Lot was more restrained, breaking out the champagne, setting out a special meal. Vargas was quietly pleased. While Hitler's precious 1,000-year Reich was collapsing, all that Vargas had left behind for his successors still prospered. There was one man who was sad about the demise of Hitler. Brazil's local fascist specimen, Wilson Passos. While Lacerda, having typed out page after page of anti-fascist diatribes, replaced his typewriter ribbon, Wilson went to the German embassy to express her condolences. Hers was the only name in the entire book that was not that of an ethnic German. While others, suffused with glee, said to each other that perhaps the Nazi tyranny might finally begin to fall, Wilson had only one thing to say about the whole thing when asked about it. This is not the end, by any means. Okay, stuff's accelerating. Ooh, Central Siberia is getting hot. And Irkutsk got pushed back a little bit again. Man. I think these two are robbing each other of any chance to unite Eastern Siberia. What's happening? Oh, German Civil War is starting. I think. There it is. So it begins! No matter which one of them wins, the ground they're standing on will crack and blow away. Yeah. There we go. Hold on. Too much music playing over each other. I have to pause that. Ooh. Spear will fight, and if he fights, he'll fight alone. And in the end, we'll see there was no other way. Come on, come on, come on. It's all the freaking wars breaking out. Oh shoot, is Moscow gonna split? We're gonna get where it just gets all balkanized? Starts getting really crazy? No. Maybe not. There's the England uprising, expansion into Africa. Now we're waiting on this. The South. Whoa, what? Is this a war or the... Oh yeah, Republic of Madagascar. What the heck is this? An outbreak of bubonic plague, the Black Death of yore that wreaked havoc upon Europe in the Middle Ages, is currently ravaging, Barros went out as visiting the zoo. There was pandas. Charmed the guests of the zoo with engaging style, letting people know where their bread was butter. Adamars, yeah, trying to work on becoming president, calling on the favor of God so often to make the ears of every archangel, angel, throne, dominion, and saint ring 100 times over. It's showtime. Anyway, so I don't think I've seen this before, so I guess the Jews won. Oh, that's a cool portrait. The Jews won in Madagascar, but there's a republic within it that's, yeah, suffering from bubonic plague. Our hospitals are overwhelmed. Our doctors are unprepared. The shortage of supplies for an outbreak of this magnitude. This Epidemic is also having adverse effect on the riot, since the natives of Madagascar is the group affected the most by the plague, and the lack of an effective response on our part is turning the populace against us. Oh. Oh shoot! The research is full! I'm so busy going forward because of the other stuff I didn't pay attention. Never did pick a land doctrine. I need to do that at some point. Erika. Grab the... I guess let's start working on the other side of this military construction. Okay, gonna schedule another inspection, lower that nepotism. Serbs are rising up. Billion freaking events here. Okay. So I knew we'd get to the death of Hitler, but what's going on with this relationship here? There's the South Africa War, which I think we are going to be able to get involved in. Here we go. Violence erupted across South Africa today as the Boer Republic... hold on, are these ready to go? Nice, pretty much. As the Boer Republic angered at what they have perceived... These are quality too. Angered at what they have perceived as endless attacks on themselves by the South African government, formally declared its independence from the Republic of South Africa. Accompanying the declaration, Boer militias carrying mostly German armaments have spread out across the Orange Free State and numerous other parts of northwestern South Africa, coming into armed conflict with South African soldiers stationed in the area. As the conflict continues to escalate, it is currently unknown what exactly the German response will be, yet as observers report increasing militarization of the South African border by the newly formed Africa Shield, many consider the German response to be self-evident. African chaos, typical. No one starts a war, or rather, no one in his senses ought to do so without first being clear in his mind what he intends to achieve by that war, and how he intends to conduct it. Karl von Clausewitz. The dominoes shall stop. Okay. So yeah, things are going to accelerate now. Yeah, because I think we could get involved here. Pretty sure. Or does the government need to adopt first or something? Come on. Your church backing. Oh, that's quadrant stuff. I thought we could get involved. What's happening? Oh, here we go. Do we actually wait for the wars to be formally declared? There we go. Yeah, Africa Shield intervenes. Where the fuck are the Yankees? Yeah. Wait a day or two. Oh, the African National Congress popped out. You don't see that every day. It ain't gonna work out for them. The fascists move. Here we go. Walter Salles sat across from Lawton, the president's office, a sheaf of paper clutched in his hands. He spread them around the desk, a collection of graphs, reports, and intelligence maps. This is everything we have on the South African War. The U.S. is almost certain to intervene along with the rest of the OFN shortly, but even without German support, the Shield has the upper hand. President Lott sifted through papers for a while, examining each document in turn, and asking an occasional clarifying question. These were the sort of problems Enrique Lott excelled at solving. Troop movements, logistics, naval clashes, native resistance, and foreign intervention. The SAW, South African War, was a mighty puzzle, but as Lott examined the collected reports, he realized a piece was missing. The OFN was on the back foot, democracy was on the back foot, and so Brazil was on the back foot. Lott stood suddenly. Let's take a walk, Walter. I have some ideas I need to air. Salles followed after him as they made their slow way out of the building. As soon as they were outside, Lott began to speak. We are removed from the Eagle here, Walter. South America has already faced German aggression. The war will stop this. How long can the Civil War last? The Germans are at their weakest point in decades, but they are already rebounding. Standing by would be criminal. I'm rambling, Walter. He suddenly turned around and stared at Salas. No matter what happens, I will not allow fascism to extinguish another democracy. Brazil will stand with South Africa, or you can call me Enrique Silva. They walked for a while, discussing how they would spin this intervention. Here we go. Updated focus tree. Brazil to the rescue! Millions of our Lusophone brother... Now that's a phrase you do not hear often. Lusophone. Let me pull up a formal definition so I don't say it wrong, but it's... Yeah, those who are derived from Portugal. So it's like referring to these areas of Africa here, because the colonies and stuff. Anyway. Are oppressed by the Nazi tyranny in Angola and Mozambique. Worse yet, millions of South Africans are also now in danger of being put under the jackboot. Brazil neither can nor will allow such a terrible state of affairs to continue without intervening. Just as the Prussian cavalry arrived at the last moment and saved the British at Waterloo, the Brazilian army shall come to Africa and save the Anglos again. Even better, the collapse of the African Reichskommissariats will make Brazil the main naval power in the southern Atlantic, thereby decisively ending the naval conflicts that we have had to fight for the past 20 years. The President has ordered it, and thus it shall be so. We shall go to war to support South Africa. So can I already send the volunteers, or do I have to wait for the... Yeah, I think we have to actually do the focus first. Good thing is, it's just a week. Let's also increase the size of these. ASAP. Okay, okay, yeah. Unfortunately, we don't have much army experience or any reasonable way to get a lot of it soon. We're gonna figure it out. Okay, so can I send the volunteers now? No. Wait, there we go. Brazil to the rescue. Locke coughed twice before speaking. Let's get this out of the way immediately. I intend to join the OFN defense of South Africa against the Shield. To do any less is to allow fascists to continue their campaign of murder unchecked. Lot sat down at the head of the long meeting table, looking at the assembly of generals before her. At the other end sat Odilio Dennis, War Minister. To her right sat Quadros. This meeting would decide once and for all the Brazilian response to the South African War. Then he's piped up first. I think I speak for the entire military high command when I say that we agree, Mr. President. We are already preparing an offensive against the Shield, so I recommend we get right into the planning if there's no objections. Everyone around the table gave varying grunts of affirmations, nods, and even the odd yep, all except one. You want the Germans to shoot our heads off our necks? There's already a goddamn continent full of Nazis. Why antagonize them? Whatever barrier, whatever horse son wins their civil war, they're gonna nuke us into paste. I object! Quadros had fully stood up now and banged her fists on the table at the end for good effect. She slammed her hands down again and sat back in her seat, red-faced and puffing. An awkward silence filled the room. A lot tentatively broke it. Well, thank you, Hanyo. If there's nothing else, let's get into the planning. Quadros stormed out of the meeting and wasn't seen for the rest of the day. So... air support, old ones go first. We can't send volunteers until we get to Operation Diodoro. So it's gonna take us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. Damn, hope they hold on. Alright. Convince the legislature. Political articulation is a difficult thing. Thankfully, the president has got figures like Neves and Lott to engage in the requisite smooth talk with our legislatures. Through reforms, agreements, and an occasional bribe, the road to an intervention shall be de-obstructed, and the legislatures will one by one come around to Brazil, intervening on South Africa's behalf. Okay. Oh, hold on, South Africa, man. They're getting pushed so fucking hard, but hopefully the African National Congress will distract. Because they're at war with everybody. Because this is the, it's the natives. So it's like, you get right down to it, it's practically just the Dutch versus the Anglos, or the Anglo-Dutch versus the Germans over who's going to rule Africa. So, freaking the African National Congress might have a little bit of a problem with that. Convince the people. utilize nationalistic propaganda and disseminate news of Nazi atrocities in Africa. Hope this war doesn't end like the last one. Send a letter to your representative. Pro-war politicians had the majority, but the more officials law brought to his side, the better. He didn't want to deal with squabbling bureaucrats while he ran a campaign. It was time to demonstrate they were still masters of South America. As the people called for war, their representatives began. Okay, so we'll stop it there. In the next episode, we're going to get involved in South Africa. And also, there might be some domestic things happening at home. Look forward to that. I'm Conquering History Games. See you next time.